2,000 years ago, the Gnostics proposed that there are basically three types of people, or to put it another way, humans exist in three distinct categories of consciousness. In this video, we'll explore this ancient wisdom and how it might help make sense of the world we live in today. What people today call non-player characters, or NPCs, are what the Gnostics called hylics, from the Greek word hyle, which means matter, and these are beings completely identified with the material world. Like NPCs in a video game, they follow their programming without questioning the nature of their reality. They live, they work, they blindly obey authority and follow social scripts, but they never ask the big questions. They are content to play their role in the game, without ever wondering if it is a game at all. While many people may call this idea dangerous, it's important to not judge information based on how you feel upon first hearing it or seeing it. This would be a logical fallacy. What is important is whether or not the information is true, not how hearing it makes you feel. One level up, so to speak, we find the psychics. These are the players with the potential to become active in this cosmic game, which has also been described by mystics as a dream. Psychics sense there's something more to life and reality, something beyond the material world. They're like gamers who are fully immersed in the game, but have the potential to become aware they're playing one. Some psychics may seek meaning, practice meditation, and strive for understanding, yet they remain attached to the rules and structures of this reality. For example, they may still obey authority either out of fear or ignorance of the fact that authority is illusory, which makes the authority of government illegitimate. And they may also still follow and believe in religion, which was designed to psychologically enslave consciousness. Finally, we have the Pneumatics, the fully awakened ones, or at least the ones who are awakening. In our virtual reality metaphor, they're like players who've discovered they can access the developer console. They've realised that their physical body is just an avatar, their mind a sophisticated VR headset, connecting them to this grand simulation. These are the beings who've recognised that consciousness itself is the only real thing. Everything else is just code in the cosmic program. Or in the words of researcher David Icke, infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. In his book, The Reveal, he writes, "What a testament to the power of expanded awareness and the true potential of incarnate consciousness, that the astral infuses copious numbers of AI humans into this reality that have the role of non-player characters in a virtual reality game. Their astral AI mind programs are directing thoughts and responses, and not an eternal expression of consciousness. Only their close-minded perceptions, behaviour and frequency nature can tell them apart from conscious or potentially conscious humans. The simulation is running them, and that means they will obey authority unquestioningly and condemn conscious responses and opinions, because that's what they're programmed to do. They are the AI herd with the job of pressuring and intimidating conscious people into the same herd mentality, founded on unquestioning obedience." In the modern day, hylics have been called by different names like NPCs, organic portals, spiritless humans, soulless beings, and backdrop people, which is a term coined by Dolores Cannon. I'm sure some of those terms will offend some people, but it's about what the term is pointing towards, not how you personally feel about it. Psychopaths are a great example of this. You might not like to hear that there are people who feel no empathy and actually enjoy harming other people, and yet they actually exist. How you feel when you hear that some people are so spiritless that they enjoy causing harm to others doesn't change the fact that they exist.
For years and years and years, I used to tell people, it really strikes me strange that there are so many people that seem to me that they're like cardboard cutouts. And what I mean is, like, you meet people who you get to know them a little, you have conversations with them, you interact with them, and you discover that they're not just surface. That's all they are. You think, well, if I get to know this person better, they'll talk to me about a deep subject. They'll exchange with me a deep conversation. They will tell me how they really feel. They'll tell me about their hopes. But then you get to know them better and better, and you find out that the only thing there is somebody who talks about football, soap operas, what they shopped for, where they went for their vacation, their new car, the new drapes in their house, and then they just go around that circle again, and around that circle again, and around that circle again, their entire lives. There is no depth to them. There is nobody inside. They are like simulacra of human beings. So I had noticed this for years. I mean, this was back when my children were little, because I had, as I said, I worked for the state welfare office, and I interacted with a lot of people, and I had to interact with a lot of people. And of course, I'd been a couple of years in university, and like everybody else, had met and interacted with at various levels, thousands and thousands of people. And there were these people who stood out as being like cardboard. You go into a store and you see a cutout of somebody trying to sell you something, and it's got a stick on the back of it that props it up. And it looks like it's life-size, and it's like a life-size man or woman. And then you look around behind it, there's a stick holding it up. There are human beings like that.
I don't know what made me the way I am, but whatever it was left a hollow place inside. People fake a lot of human interactions, but I feel like I fake them all, and I fake them very well.
Ahoy! Ahoy there, Captain! Any big marlin out there today?
And that's my burden, I guess.
But until the Cassiopeans started talking to me about organic portals, I had no theory to understand that. Even Gurdjieff said you can walk down the street. If you walk down the street and you understood how many people you pass are dead, and he meant, their essence, their inner being. There was no inner being to them. He said you would go mad with terror if you understood how many there are.
A considerable percentage of the people we meet on the street are people who are empty inside. That is, they are actually already. It is fortunate for us that we do not see and do not know it. If we knew what a number of people are actually and what a number of these people govern our lives, we should go mad with horror.
Just like me. Empty inside.
Well, he didn't understand it in the terms of organic portals. So along come the Cassiopeans, and they give a name and a description of a type of being that I had noticed for all my life, and Gurdjieff noticed and wrote about, and other people, Castaneda even talked about. He said there are people who have only three or only two lights in their makeup. He was talking about seeing them paranormally. But then there are others who have more. They have three. And those are the people who have soul potential, so to speak. Those weren't the exact words he used, but that's what he meant. The topic of organic portals has received a great deal of support from esoteric literature and even from scientific research. And also the research into psychopathy and personality disorders gives us a little bit more of a scientific basis to look at it. So, it's something that should be being worked on by real scientists, not just, speculated on by, by just me or groups of people who want to play spot the OP. I mean, that's not the objective. Let's do some research. Let's find out what's going on our planet. Time's running out.
Here you go.
Thank you. Buddy, what would you do if you found out that you weren't real?
What are you? Are you a person or a machine?
I'm a lady!
A real lady?
Every inch!
Wait, a real lady? Are you a human being?
Yes! I may very well be the only decent human being left
In Stepford?
in the world!
I think the world is gone mad. Maybe I'm the crazy
Trying to awaken organic portals is a waste of time because not only do they have no interest in awakening and being conscious, they're also unable to understand anything to do with spirituality because they're stuck on the level of the mind/ego.
Well, you know, all egos are NPCs, really, because there's only one self. So, you know, anyone who believes that they are a separate being is simply a character in the matrix operating according to its algorithms and has no free will. But all of them are part of the dream within the dream within the dream. And when all of those dreams are exploded and there is total wakefulness of the ultimate God consciousness, which is the singularity that will shine through the simulation and fill the world, quote unquote, with light and bring the realization of the one infinite ocean of consciousness, all of those apparently separate NPCs will simply dissolve into the ocean. They are just bubbles on the waves of consciousness within the ocean, and they will dissolve into the oceanic oneness and disappear until the next dream. And again, they will there will be another opportunity for those bubbles to awaken to their true nature and be liberated while in the dream.
In a book called The Dream by David Icke, he also writes about non-player characters, and he says,
"Many among the population are non-players, in the sense they are playing out their program, without access to non-simulation consciousness that can intervene. They do what they are told to do and think what they are told to think. Their role is to follow the narrative without question, while putting pressure on divine sparks to do the same."
A great example of the role of NPCs being to put pressure on divine sparks to conform is the Ash conformity experiment.
The Ash experiment is one of psychology's oldest and most popular pieces of research. A volunteer is told that he's taking part in a visual perception test. What he doesn't know is that the other participants are actors, and he's the only person taking part in the real test, which is actually about group conformity.
Please begin. The experiment you will be taking part in today involves the perception of line length. Your task will be simply to look at the line here on the left and indicate which of the three lines on the right is equal to it in length. So, for example, if you think...
The actors have been told to match the wrong lines. The volunteer will be monitored to see if he gives the correct answer or if he goes along with the opinion of the group and gives the wrong answer. In the first test, the correct answer is 2.
1. 1. 1.
That's 2.
1.
Once again, the correct answer is 2.
3. 3. 3.
3.
3.
The Ash experiment has been repeated many times, and the results have been supported again and again. We will conform to the group. Again, we're very social creatures. We're very much aware of what the people around us think. We want to be liked. We don't want to be seen to rock the boat, so we will go along with the group. Even if we don't believe what people are saying, we'll still go along.
1. 1.
1.
1. Group dynamics is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology.
And finally, have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
No.
Good.
I came across an article written by
Bernard Gunther
on veilofreality.com about this topic, and this is some of what he wrote.
Of course, from a higher perspective, we're all one, but we're not all the same in this 3D reality on Earth. For example, Gandhi and Hitler are one, but one of them doesn't seem to have any conscience. The biggest illusion and projection people seem to have is the assumption that the people in positions of power, for example, think and feel just like we all do, and if they don't, it is assumed that they are just misguided and lack love in their lives. However, what if there exists a type of human who has no connection to the higher centers of universal love or awareness at all by birth? He or she is not even genetically wired this way, not being able to access it this lifetime around, but he or she can emulate and fake these higher characteristics quite well, and even distract you from evolving by sapping your energy and feeding off it. They can tell you exactly what you want to hear and appear compassionate, empathetic, and understanding without meaning or feeling it one bit. And what if this type of human makes up half of the world's population? He or she might be even a family member, a co-worker, neighbour, boss, or even a close friend, a lover, husband or wife. Certainly not a pleasant thought, and certainly a blow to the popular New Age paradigm of we're all one and humanity is becoming enlightened just by focusing on love, light, and so-called positive thinking.
There's a theory that there are some people that are walking among us that are algorithms, that are basically computer programs. They look like humans, they act like humans, but they don't have any independent autonomy or thought. So they go through life and they fulfill a predestined role. Kind of like the scene in The Matrix where Morpheus was explaining to Neo while they're on the busy street and the woman with the red dress walks by that most people are programmed characters, even though they look human.
You listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
Well, there's a lot of credibility to this theory, and I think a lot of people are afraid of it because it resonates with them. Because it's scary. It is scary to think that there are people in your life that are just playing a role and they cannot help it. But there's a lot to be said about that. People say that's impossible. But when you dream, you're talking to somebody that isn't there, right? You're talking to your subconscious. But you think that that character in your dream that you're talking to is real. Why can't life work on the same basis?
I do not like to talk about such things, since we have often been attacked even without them. Rudolf Steiner.
And the final quote by Dr. Rudolf Steiner from Faculty Meetings, Volume 2, July 1923. Quote, Dr. Rudolf Steiner says, "That little girl LK in the first grade must have something really wrong inside. There is not much we can do. Such cases are increasing in which children are born with a human form but are not really human beings in relation to their highest I. Instead, they are filled with beings that do not belong to the human class. Quite a number of people have been born since the 90s without an I. That is, they are not reincarnated, but are human forms filled with a sort of natural. There are quite a large number of older people going around who are actually, but are only natural. They are human beings only in regard to their form. We cannot, however, create a school for." A teacher responds, "How is that possible?" Dr. Rudolf Steiner replies, "Cosmic error is certainly not impossible. The relationships of individuals coming into earthly existence have long been determined. There are also generations in which individuals have no desire to come into earthly existence and be connected with physicality, or immediately leave at the very beginning. In such cases, other beings that are not quite suited step in. This is something that is now quite common, that human beings go around without an I. The I as in the capital I as in yourself. I am. They are actually not, but have only a human form. They are beings like nature spirits, which we do not recognize as such because they go around in a human form. They are also quite different from human beings in regard to everything spiritual. The riddle of life is not so simple. When such a being dies, it returns to nature from which it came. The corpse decays, but there is no real dissolution of the etheric body, and the nature being returns to nature. It is also possible that something like an automation could occur. The entire human organism exists, and it might be possible to automate the brain and develop a kind of pseudo-morality. I do not like to talk about such things, since we have often been attacked even without them. Imagine what people would say if they heard that we say there are people who are not. Nevertheless, these are facts. Our culture would not be in such a decline if people felt more strongly that a number of people are going around who, because they are completely ruthless, have become something that is not human, but instead are in human form,